Hi all, welcome. Cynthia here from NB Pretty Papers up on the Crafty Maven Getaway today with an Art Party Friday spread or layout or activity. And today I'm going to do a canvas. And my very first use at also using a napkin. So I haven't used a napkin at all in any format before, so I've been seeing a lot of people using them and decided that it's something that I wanted to try. So I found these napkins and they have some beautiful roses and flowers on them, and I'm going to lay a few of them around the edge. So I've brought my napkins from a local dollar store. I think they were 2 or 3 ply, so I've just pulled the back off them and have the top layer only, and now I'm using matte gel medium to go around and glue them all down. I'm not trying to be over neat and make it perfectly smooth. I'm happy to have a few little ridges and creases in the napkin, as I think it will give it a little bit of texture. So I've just pulled the napkin apart and am using a wet paintbrush to help peel off the napkin that I don't need. So I've gone down one side, and now I'm just having a look to see where I want to lay some flowers and some napkins around the other side. Here, once again, you can see that I'm using the paintbrush to peel off these little bits of edge. If I did it again, I don't think this was a necessary step. I was a bit concerned about how a straight line would look, whether I'd be able to blend that into the background okay, as I hadn't used napkins before, so I wasn't too sure how I was going to go about blending these in. But after doing it now, I realised that it certainly wouldn't have created a problem. I would have been able to blend a background in okay, a straight line in. So I have the napkins down, and now I am going to paint the gap between the two. So I've just pulled out some acrylic paints. These are some cheap acrylic paints that I get from our Spotlight. I think they're about $3-4 a little tube there. Just pulled out 2 colours, a light blue and a slightly darker shade blue, and I'm just using my paintbrush, picking up the 2 colours randomly and using thick brush strokes to put that on. So I definitely want that two-tone texture that you can see that I'm having there. I find that method gives a real random texture to the background with the 2 different colours. It doesn't sit so flat. I've also sometimes just put the lighter colour on and then put the darker crisscross strokes over top, but this way works just as well. So this is where I'm using my finger and the paint just to be able to blend in the background a little bit more as well with the napkin, so it looks like it's all one cohesive design. And I really like the way this looks. I think I blended it in quite well for the first time. Decided that I wanted to have just a little bit more up in the top right hand side there, so I grab out the wet paintbrush again, and just, this is a little piece that I had cut off that I hadn't used. I want to use it, just this little stem here, just to fill in that top little corner. Paint's not quite dry, but has us getting the lid off. And so I stopped the camera to go and do that. I think I got hubby to undo the lid for me, and then I forgot to turn it back on. So you can see that I've now glued that piece down the top left using, you might now use my acrylic just to add some few little splashes through the flowers to bring that blue in. I want to add a little bit more detail to the background, so I grab out some stamps and a couple of different colours, and I'm going to stamp a pattern on the background. The colour that I started with wasn't quite dark enough, so I go in and I pull out my Distress Oxide ink, and I think I end up using the darker one. Craft stamp, and this one has a chicken wire pattern on it, so I just add that, and I really liked when I put this pattern down. It sort of made me think of a country garden that has the chicken wire fence and the roses growing over it. You could see the sky. By the time I finish the design, you don't see a lot of the stamping in the background. One, because I put the quote over top, and two, I use matte gel medium to seal the whole thing, and as I do that, I actually smudge the oxide a little bit, so it sort of makes it a little bit lighter, which is fine. It still gives the different tones and slightly different look to the background. Here you saw me there trying to, I used a pit brush marker to do some shading, but I hadn't sealed, did additional seal on the top layer, so I pulled out the gel medium again to add another coat there, and I will go back in later and add all the shading. So I pulled out a couple of different papers from my stash, which I'm going to use this die here to cut out my quote, and the quote is, I don't have it in front of me, so let's hope I can remember it. Our home is clean enough to be healthy and dirty enough to be happy. That's it. Now, if you follow me at all, you would know that earlier this year I did a journal page with the same quote, and a friend of mine saw the quote and the page, and she said, oh, I remember growing up and we had that exactly same quote on our wall. And a few months back now, she said, you know what you can get me for my birthday? She said, you can do me a little. So when I sat down to start to do this piece, I knew that I was going to be up on the Crafty Maven Getaway today for this thing, and so I thought, oh yes, I'll make that canvas that I've been talking about. Well, I've been meaning to do for my friend's birthday, and of course I do it, and I go all the way through it, and as I'm putting editing the video, I go, oh, inspiration piece, and I pulled up the inspiration piece, and really, there's not much that I can draw from the inspiration piece. I had just totally forgot that I meant to be using the inspiration piece, and it was too close to due date for me to go back and do another piece, so I am really going to stretch to the limit and say that I drew the blue from the river for this piece, but in all honesty I just totally forgot that I was meant to be using an inspiration piece. But decided I would put this piece up anyway because I think it's quite nice and it fits the scheme, and basically there's no way in life I'm going to be able to do another one at this stage. So you initially saw me cut out my quote all from pattern paper, and I had a wood grain pattern paper and also a peeled painted wood grain, which I was going to use certain letters with. After I'd laid it all out on the canvas, I really didn't like the way that all looked, so I pulled out these chipboards, I guess you call them, Studio Calico I think they are, and they're mistables, and I'm just checking to see which colour I like best. So I do a blue, a pink and a green, and then I lay those on the board to see which one I like the most, and I like the pink. So I'm actually going to use these alphas here to do out the few words that I was going to use. So I just go through. I sprayed them with a I think they're also, oh no, they're Mr. Huey's spray mist in a light pink. I don't know the actual name of it, and I quite like the way that looks. So I pull out the next word, which is healthy, and I spray those as well. Same colour, just give them a good spray, let them sit for a little moment. Oh, I don't know what that was. Let them sit for a moment so the colour can soak in, and then I'll wipe off the excess. It really doesn't take up as much colour as I thought they would. I did respray one a second time, thinking that maybe it will pick up a little extra coat, but they don't. That's this one here. I thought they might get a little bit darker in pink, but they didn't. Then I pull out my next word, dirty, and I'm going to spray that. And you may be thinking right now, hang on, that doesn't say dirty, I forgot the T. And yes, I did forget the T. And I glued it all down. I'm nearly finished. My husband read it and said, "You forgot the T." And I initially said, "Oh, don't tell me that." I thought he was joking. And then I went over and had a look, and sure enough, good old Cynthia striked again. Forgot the T. You'll see me a little bit later on how I fix that. So I'm really liking the way this is coming together. And I can certainly see the appeal of people using the tissues as a starting point for their art journals, and I will certainly be keeping my eye out for some more. Don't generally see too many packs around locally that I think is going to be suitable that I might use. So when I saw these as I said, in the local $2 store or the cheap dollar store, I thought yes, I'll buy myself a couple of different packs, but they were all flowers and a couple of birds. Here we go, fixing that piece. How has everyone been? Everyone been well? All managing to get a little bit done? Getting super busy leading up to Christmas? I have officially brought at least 2 Christmas presents. This weekend just passed before I did this voiceover. We put up our Christmas tree and decorated our house. I still have the Christmas lights on the outside of the house to put up, so I need to go around and do that. But other than that, we're all set and ready for Christmas. don't know what we're actually going to do Christmas yet. I think it'll probably just be the three of us on Christmas Day, so we just may go out on our boat and go ashore and have a picnic on the beach somewhere. So we don't actually have any other plans at this stage. So you can see me here going around. I've just pulled out the blues and I've got the reds. I'm just going to add some shading throughout all the pictures, and I really think this made it pop off the page and gives it some good dimension. And then I go around and do the same around my quote, and once I do that, it's pretty much the end of the layout. At one point here I realised that I could probably use a little paintbrush to help smudge the word, as my finger was smudging the blue over top of the quote itself, and even though with a wet baby wipe it came off quite easy, I think it was just easier to be able to use the pencil, the brush, sorry. So I may at some point do another one of these with the same quote to put up on the wall of our house as well. But I'll probably use a lot of purple tones, because I remember the one that we had when I was growing up had purple tones to it. So at some point I'll probably take another 6 months or so before I get around to doing one for myself. But pulled out these little wood veneer butterflies. I brought a pack of 50 already painted, so the colours work well, and I'm just going to put 4 on this page and I am done. So if you stuck with me this far, thank you very much. I do hope you enjoyed the process. I absolutely loved making this, and I think it's turned out absolutely gorgeous, and I'm sure my friend is going to love it. This is going up before I give it to her, so I hope she doesn't watch my channel. I know occasionally she does, so fingers crossed. But she won't. But if you enjoyed it, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment. If you haven't already, jump onto the Crafty Maven Getaway channel and subscribe, so you don't miss any of the wonderful videos that go up each day from all different ladies doing different types. And I will talk to you on the next video. Stay tuned for some close-ups. Talk to you next time. Have a wonderful day, week or month. Talk to you soon. Bye.